Before starting the next lesson, why don't you go ahead and try this warm-up question just to see if you can do it. Bob has a job as a salesman at a furniture store. Each week, Bob gets paid $300 plus 5% of the value of his sales. I'm going to use these variables to represent weekly earnings and total weekly sales. Sales just means the value of all the merchandise that he sold. So I want you to write an equation to represent Bob's weekly earnings. So his earnings, he gets $300 plus 5% of the value of his sales. So pause the video, see if you can do it, and then check in here. His earnings are $300 plus 5% of his sales. 300 plus 0.05 multiplied by X. X is his sales. This next lesson is about what do you do when you're given the equation. Oftentimes we've been given a description of what's happening, and based on the description we can make a table of values and then a graph. But what if we're not given a description? What if we're just given an equation? How do we make a graph from that? That's what we're going to talk about in this lesson. So we're going to work through a couple of examples so you can see what I'm talking about. Bertha is biking home from school, and her distance traveled in meters after t minutes is given by this equation. So we have her distance is d, the time is t, and this is the equation. So using that equation, we're going to make a table of values, then we're going to use the table of values to make a graph, and then we're going to use what we know to answer this question. Before we can make a table of values, we have to know what our variables are. Remember, the variables are just the things that are being measured. So we have her distance, and we have time in minutes. Those are our two variables. Okay, so now which one is dependent and which one is independent? If you'll recall from a previous lesson, time is always independent. It does not depend on anything. So time is our independent variable. So that's the one that goes on the left-hand side in our table of values. So if you're not given values to put into your table of values, you can just make them up. So I started at 0 and then I went up 1, 2, and 3. That was easy to do. But now the question is, okay, what is the distance? I'm not told any information. The only thing I have is this equation. Well, I can calculate distance if I know the time. It's just 30 multiplied by however many minutes have passed. So for my first entry in my table of values, time is 0. So I can use my equation, substitute in my value for t, and multiply to get my answer for d. So when the time is 0, my distance is 0. I can do the same thing when time is 1 minute. Substitute in my value for t, do the multiplication, and get my answer. So after 1 minute, her distance is 30 meters. And I can do this same process for the rest of the time values. Now I have a completed table of values, and I can use that to answer the next part and make a graph. So I'm going to draw that over here. So things you want to remember are to put your independent variable on the x-axis and your dependent variable on the y-axis. You also want to have a consistent scale along the bottom so that you're going up by the same amount each time. And you also want to do the same thing on the vertical axis. I plotted these points from my table of values, but I also kept the pattern going and I just put on more points so that we could have a bigger graph. So now I can answer the question, if Bertha lives 2 kilometers from school, how long will it take her to get home? To answer this question, you could take your table of values and just extend it, use the same pattern, and just keep going until you get to 2,000 meters. Now that might take you a long time. It's probably not the most efficient way to solve this problem. Also, you could have a bigger graph and just keep going until you get to 2,000 meters on the y-axis. But again, that's time consuming. That's going to take a lot of your energy. The thing we're going to do that's the fastest is to use the equation. We have an equation. If we know the distance, then we can solve for the time. So my equation is d equals 30t. I'm told it's 2 kilometers, but remember distance is in meters, so I have to change that into meters. A kilometer is 1,000 meters, so 2 kilometers is 2,000 meters. So I can substitute that value in for d. Now I have an equation that I can solve. To isolate t, I need to divide both sides by 30. So when I do that, these cancel out on the right-hand side. I'm left with t isolated. 2,000 divided by 30 is approximately 66.7. So I can finish with a sentence. It will take her 66.7 minutes to get home. This next example, the equation that models the volume of coffee remaining in a pot after C cups have been poured. So I've got the volume, milliliters, of coffee remaining in the pot. C is the number of cups that have been poured. So I'd like you to try to make a table of values, make a graph, and then answer the following questions. So you can try it on your own, pause the video, try it, and then you can unpause to check. So I want to talk about what this equation means first off. So we are starting with 1,500 and we're decreasing by 300 for each cup that's been poured. So you can make a table of values and make a graph. Volume is dependent. That's the one that goes on the y-axis. The number of cups is independent. That's the one that goes on the x-axis. So in my table of values, I always put the x value first and then the y value. Now I'm just going to start with 0 cups and work my way up a few. And just like in the previous example, I used my equation to calculate V for each number of cups. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm not going to show my work right now, I'm just going to show my answers. But if you're not sure how I did it, you can just ask me for clarification later. So there you go, I have a table of values. Now I'm just going to make my graph. So I've labeled my axes. I've put my values at a consistent scale, and now I can plot my points from my table of values. So there you go, and I also went ahead and made a line of best fit, and I extended the pattern so that I could see more on the graph. So what do the fixed and variable amounts represent in this situation? Well, here's the fixed amount. Here's the variable amount. So what do those represent? Well, this is our starting value. It starts at 1,500. So that means when 0 cups have been poured, the volume in the coffee pot is 1,500 milliliters. So that really just means the coffee pot can hold 1,500 milliliters of coffee. And this part here, the minus 300C, that just means we're decreasing by 300 milliliters for every cup of coffee. So that means each cup of coffee is 300 milliliters. Okay, part D. Brenda's coffee pot is bigger, but she drinks smaller cups. How would Brenda's graph be different? Well, if the coffee pot is bigger, her initial value is going to be bigger because this amount here is going to be bigger, right? So if the coffee pot holds more, the initial value is going to be larger. She drinks smaller cups, so that means this amount will be smaller, which means you're going to be decreasing at a smaller rate. So Brenda's graph might look like this blue line where the initial volume is larger because the coffee pot holds more, but it's going to decrease at a smaller rate because the cups are smaller. So write a possible equation for Brenda's coffee pot. Well, as long as you're following the same format as this equation up here, have your initial volume bigger and the volume of each cup smaller, then you're good. So the whole point of this lesson was to take an equation and use it to make a table of values, and then use your table of values to make a graph. And then you can also use your equation to solve problems using algebra. So if you can do all the questions on this homework handout, the link is going to be provided for you, then you should be fine. If you have trouble, just let me know and I'll do my best to help.